if you can hear me, please increase the energy of my body significantly so I'm sure it's you communicating to me. And you wait.
Well, you mentioned practices for connecting to the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
I got my blue blockers on. You got yours on. I am addicted to sun gazing. Doing my practice in the morning, sunrise, sunset. I'm curious if you have any kind of practice like that.
I did Egyptian sun gazing for 1 year, every morning at sunrise and every night at sunset for approximately an hour, sunrise and sunset. My soul directed me to do that. That was the same year my soul directed me to be a vegetarian for 1 year, which was very hard for me to do. Every freaking day I said, are you sure you don't want to eat some meat today? So funny enough, it was exactly 1 year. And all of a sudden my soul said, you can eat fish and eggs now. And I lost 26 pounds of muscle in like probably 3 months. It just fell off of me because I just couldn't get enough flesh, even with all my knowledge of, various protein powders and plant, combinations with beans and all this other stuff. Because my gene line is from Alsace-Lorraine, which is between France and Germany. And if the ground freezes in the winter where your ancestors came from, you better be eating some meat or you're going to pay for it because you're designed to run off flesh and some plants too, of course. But I did it as part of my practice, and I was having tremendous experiences. The one thing the vegetarian did is it because I didn't have the animal spirit in me, it opened me up a lot, and my buoyances got very strong. But it was during the sun gazing that I actually started having these really profound experiences. And I'd be gazing at the sun and I kept seeing this being who would show up like a hologram, literally like coming out of the sun. And he looked like a cross between a Middle Eastern and a Jamaican man. And he was wearing these beautiful clothes that were kind of like almost like African Jamaican, like a mix of cultures. And he would sometimes have this beautiful little hat that's all hand embroidered. And he always had this beautiful smile and these beautiful bright eyes. And it's just such a welcoming presence. And at first I thought, I'm like, am I hallucinating or what? And I'm a remote viewer. So I moved in my spirit body and traveled right up to him and said, are you aware that I've been watching you doing my sun gazing and I keep seeing you? He said, of course I'm aware. I said, who are you? He said, I am the spirit of the sun. I said, well, are you like Jesus Christ or Buddha or any of those beings? He said, I am all of them. They are all embodiments of me. I am the spirit of the sun. I am the source of the matrix of life on Earth and in the entire solar system. You all live within my being. You are my children. And I said to him, well, cool. What is your name? And he said, my name is Umakara. I said, well, that's amazing, Umakara. And I pronounced it and said, is that right? He said, yes, Umakara. And so then I went on asking him questions, for the whole year, right? But anyhow, after that happened and I met him, as soon as that was done, that session, I was early in the morning. I was standing actually in the alley next to the garbage cans behind my office because at that time with my schedule, it was the only time I could do it. So I had to go from there into work. And I said to my soul, is there any book in my library that mentions Umbakara? And my soul said, yes, there is. I said, well, show it to me. So my soul walked me in, took me right around the corner, right to the section in my library where I had all my theosophy books. There was a great big double 2-volume set. And one of them was like a big glossary. And my soul said, go to page 435, I believe it was. And there it was in bold letters, Umbakara, the spirit of the sun. It gave a whole paragraph of description all about exactly what I just learned. And I went, shit, man, I had freaking goosebumps from head to toe. And so I knew I wasn't hallucinating at that point. And I've had countless, I mean, I've had so many of these types of experiences happen in my life. That's how I know I'm not fucking crazy, because, you know, I built the Chek Institute out of being guided by these people. And so I just kept my relationship with going, and I painted a mandala, which is over there on the wall, that is a geometrical expression of the sun that I do my prayers to in the morning. It's one of them that I do prayers to, and I connect to this, to Umakara every morning, and ask for support and ask for guidance with Spirit Jim. And you know, and you can connect to the moon. You can, I meet with Mother Gaia, who comes to me as the Black Madonna, and she is a beautiful, she looks like about a 60-year-old Aboriginal woman, but she's incredibly loving and wise. And she really reminds me of my grandmother. My grandmother wasn't an Aboriginal woman, but I mean, just imagine this, like, really, like, you look into her eyes and you know you're looking at wisdom. There's no question. You're like, you're looking at, I mean, words don't capture it. And she tells me, she's been telling me about all sorts of things that are going on the planet and what's happening and what could happen if we don't get our heads out of our asses. But anyhow, I teach people how to do this right in the Spirit Gym teachings. I'm like, don't believe me, go fucking do it for yourself. Have enough balls to go stand there, even if it takes you a freaking year. But when you get someone like me guiding you how to do it, so Jimmy, here's what you do. I'm going to give you a little Spirit Gym training right for free. Go calm yourself down. Really relax yourself inside. You know, first hour or last hour, sunlight's the best to do this because the world's going through a transition at that time. In the morning, the heat's coming up and out of the earth. And in the night, it's coming back in, the energy is moving into the earth. So at night, the energy draws into the earth. So whenever there's dew on the ground, that's your perfect time for spiritual practices. Because if the environment's going through a transition, it opens a gate, so it's easier for your spirit to get out of your body and enter other dimensions, because the world's going into a dimension shift. So you just look at the sun and you hold the intention to communicate with that spirit. And you send the intention by holding your mind on the sun and say, Spirit of the Sun, it's Jimmy Airy here. I am wanting to have an honest, loving connection with you and be guided by you. I want to learn more about the mysteries of life. If you can hear me, please increase the energy of my body significantly so I'm sure it's you communicating to me. And you wait. And when you feel the energy of your body rise up, you say, Spirit of the Sun, if that was you that just did that, please do it 3 times in a row so I'm sure it's you. And watch what happens. And then say, okay, Spirit of the Sun, can you appear to me? Paul Chek told me your name is Umakara. Is that true? Could you appear to me? And just relax. And now the thing, Jimmy, you got to do is you got to be careful not to try to use your physical eyes to see Umakara. Okay, this is the hard part. See, I've been doing meditation, a lot of stuff for a lot of years before I was doing sun gazing. So what you do is you kind of look at the sun without trying to focus on it, without having a focus, just what's called a soft gaze. And you see what's showing up inside of yourself inside. And a simple example is if someone flashes a camera flash at your eyes and you close your eyes, what do you see inside of your mind?
All white.
A camera flash.
Yeah.
So you see it's imprinted into the neurons because they're still resonating with the flash. The energy is still high in the neurons. So what you do is when you're looking at the sun, you see the sun, but you bring your awareness to what's inside of you that your physical eyes cannot see. And it takes practice, but you'll be able to do it.
All right. Well, thank you
And
for adding to my sun gazing ritual. I needed a spark. A lot of what you said, I've never seen Umakara, but you can ask Rich. I've definitely had some vegetarian tendencies over the past 2.5 years. I was fighting, eating meat because everyone in my family was telling me to start eating it again. I started eating it, and I felt like I was fighting myself. So I'm kind of back to where I was, but it's still been a journey, so I can resonate with a lot of things you said.
yeah, well, the thing is, there's a couple of things, but just hold the intention to meet the spirit of the sun and just open yourself to it. And as long as you can get the energetic yes or no, you can start by asking yes, no questions. So when you say, please, if you can hear me, increase the energy in my body, then say, like I said, do it 3 times. Then say, okay, whenever you're saying no to me, please decrease the energy in my body. So you ask it to do that. Say, okay, decrease it 3 times in a row. So now you have a yes, no. So then you say, okay, spirit of the sun, if the answer to one of my questions is yes, increase my energy. If the answer is no, decrease my energy. Then just start asking questions. And that will start deepening the relationship and you'll relax more into it. But with a little practice, you'll see at the right time. And then you can also say to your soul, your inner self, say, please turn up our inner vision so I can actually see what my eyes cannot see. Show me what it is that's here in front of me, but that my eyes cannot see, and ask for help. And whenever I'm having, like, if I'm tired or stressed and I can't see with my third eye very well, I just say to my soul, please increase our inner vision so I can see, and just turn it up as bright as you can. And I'll tell you one more technique. This is powerful. Open your heart. Open your heart like a flower opens. Think of what it's like when you hug somebody that you really love. Like if you hadn't seen your brother in 5 years, that first hug, what would your heart do? It wouldn't wall yourself off from him. You would say, I'm
Melt.
home. You would merge into him because you love him, right? So when you're speaking to a spiritual being like that, open your heart. And to the degree you're having a hard time seeing inside, your heart produces a very unique form of light. And you can see in the astral dimension with the light of the heart. I've traveled all over in the astral dimension, all over this universe as a remote viewer. And whenever I can't see, I just open my heart and it shines almost like moonlight. And when you open your heart and ask your soul to illuminate your vision, you will be able to see a lot more when your heart is open than you can just trying to use your eyes or trying to see behind what's in your eyes. What I've found is love is the pass key to the entire cosmos.